Hello everyone and welcome to Static FivePD. This will be video 2 of our encounter on the server. As you've all seen, I have been on the server for a while. That's why I'm in the position I am. This is typically where you can actually spawn depending on if you're a Civ or a part of BCSO, San Andreas Game Warden. Marshall and Gov is for our FBI, and that's our admins and so on and so forth. Davis LSPD, that's just our one of our 3 stations. Rockwood PD and Fire basically is just the fire department and their station in Roxwood. Then we have Highway Patrol. This is one of their stations. Department of Transportation. This is one of theirs. Another Highway Patrol station. All have San Andreas besides Los Santos County Sheriff's Office, which is LSCSO. And then we have BCSO, known as Blaine County Sheriff's Office. We have Mission Row, we have Vinewood, and Davis as of currently that are functioning stations. Let's spawn at Vinewood. Do not mind the audio, as well as the frame rate, because I am currently on a television. I ain't on a monitor at the moment. Of course, this is how we go. This is our system. We all love free game. Oh, no wonder I can't hear correctly. There we are. This is our microphone and voice chat. Is that better? I hope it is, because it sounds better on my end. This all is the settings for regular GTA. Now, if we go to keybinds, you could go to any of these, change them to whatever you like, and then we have the fivem menu where, depending on if you're in this server or not, this is pretty much where we stand. This is just the basic ones. You could change it at your will. And I know the last video was short, but it was just a little ride in the supervisor F250. Just roaming about. So we have a lot of rules and so on and so forth. Well, let me put myself on push to talk. We usually focus on being in push to talk as well as voice activity on some sense. But if we're in like calls or anything on Discord, we prefer to be on push to talk so they don't co-align with each other. But let me take you to a tour on Vinewood. Yes, I know my graphics are very shiny, but it's also because all my textures and stuff are high. If you want the same settings, you could go to your graphics, press left click, scroll down, and you can have your texture budget however strong your PC is. mine ain't all that strong. So I have mine like 3/4 of the way. Then I have my texture quality high, shader quality high, shadows off because it takes off latency. Reflections high. This is just the default right here. Water quality and particles as well as grass are high. You can have softest AHMDCHS, Navita PCSS, sharp, soft, softer, and softest for shadows. And post effects is where we can actually have brighter lights. You could have it on high, very high, ultra, normal. That's pretty much it. Everything on the bottom, I keep basic. Besides this one, I keep it high because it gives more pop to the graphics. You could even go to your advanced graphics, see your resolution, your screen type. Aspect ratio is always auto. Long shadows, high resolution shadows, high detail streaming while flying. Like all sorts. These are just the basic graphics settings. Here is display. You could have, this is all just regular. You can have it either on imperial or metric for measuring type, whichever you prefer, and whichever language you understand and want. Camera, I don't necessarily touch this, I just keep it where it's at. Audio, you could lower your audio, music volume, dialogue boost, radio station. You could have on self radio mode, can be whichever. Could be sequential, random, just radio. That's pretty much it. For radio stations, you could go media player, the music locker, Motomami Los Santos, Blue Arc, Worldwide FM, Fly Low FM, The Lowdown 91.1, The Lab, Radio Mirror Park, Cult FM, Space, Vinewood Boulevard Radio, Blonde Los Santos 97.8 FM, Los Santos Underground Radio, iFruit Radio, Los Santos Rock Radio, which pretty much can play the song that you're hearing currently. Nonstop Pop Radio Los Santos, Channel X, West Coast Talk Radio, Rebel Radio, Soul Wax FM, East Los FM, West Coast Classics. You could have even your radio off, or just have it back to media player. For output, you most likely want to prefer headphones, but you could do stereo speakers, surround speakers, your TV, and that's pretty much it. And for any of these settings, whichever you prefer, you can actually have. Just pretty much on the person's demise or description. You could do keyboard mouse, or you could even run off of your controller. Pretty much fivem is only a PC server, but on the same sense, you could hook up your gaming controller, whichever console you have it for, and you could actually use that to play the game with. Mainly our crew and stuff actually use controllers for either flying or pursuits because it's a lot easier because they're used to it on console. So that's pretty much the settings, besides, of course, voice chat, which make sure that you could have your output device on the headphones that you currently are wearing. I'm wearing a 3 rig 600 Pro X HX. You can have the volume as high as you want or as low as you want. Sound effects volume during voice chat basically means like your sound output, especially if you are using or opening fire in a game. And if it could co-align with how loud it is or how low it is, it might actually mix with the audio and you would probably hear more of the sound effects than you would the actual voice chat volume that you have. Make sure to always have your microphone enabled when talking. As of right now, the input device that I'm using is a Mi 6S, which is a boom mic. It's like about $50, maybe even less, but it's really good. It has the sound output. I have enjoyed it ever since I got it. And basically, you can make it as sensitive as you want or as non-sensitive, and then you can have the volume. And then this is just your storage on how much you can have of this. Once it reaches that max storage, it kind of starts to bug out, and mainly it pretty much just keeps it lower and lower. The best way to do that is do your Windows key R, go to, and if you see that in the bottom left corner, pretty much you'll click on that, go to your fivem, like I will so. You would scroll down. Yes, I have a lot of files. Go to fivem, go to application data, go to data, go to your cache or hold control, click your cache, cache private, and you would delete those three. You wouldn't touch any of these or else it actually resets the full fivem, and you would have to readjust everything all over again. So stay away from these two. And then pretty much what you would go do is go to your, and yes, I know I'm using a crosshair, but on the same sense, it's more accurate than what I'm used to. I'm used to a controller and regular GTA on that, but I am still brand new to all of my stuff as of currently. If you're seeing anything on the sidelines of this, it's just what goes with it. We have a priority status, which basically civs have to use in order to actually do SWAT scenes, bomb scenes, can pretty much, for rule-wise, kill cops. Otherwise, if you don't have priority, we do have a rule system to where you can get banned or potentially striked for not having the priority status as a civ. These are for verified civ only. And pretty much what it does is it gives you the opportunity to do whatever scene. You could do it with anybody that wants to join you. If you press our F5 menu, and yes, this will tell you the bottom of it is your peacetime, which is always inactive. Nearest postal is basically your location and how far away you're from it. And then we have the compass that's on here that could point northeast, southwest, northwest, southwest, northeast, southeast, and all sorts. It is also has where you're at, which is where I'm at currently posted at is Elgin Avenue, downtown Vinewood, which is in front of the Vinewood station. And what you see on the right side is the radio. We press F5 to actually go in. And for the settings, per se, all of this, you could pretty much have it as anonymous, streamer mode, display, dark. For me, I have it at dark on members list, of course. And I have it size 1 because if you have it anything bigger, you can't see that whole side. And to be fair, it is very tiny. You could allow drag, which you could pretty much, if you turn that on, you could drag your radio anywhere across your screen. And use mouse basically gives you access to using your mouse on the radio so you can actually correlate where you want to use or type and all sorts. And then call signs, basically, per se, if I wanted to, I could put Air 1 as that's meant for the skies, or roaming, which is basically I could go to any district, which we have West and East District as of currently. And this is pretty much the updated server. It's not all that optimized. Currently my status in the radio is not in radio. That's because I haven't gone to connect. And I would type 4 for LSPD, 3, of course, we have another district. Go to 6, that is Saffir. Or Highway. No, it is Saffir. This is Saffir. 5, I believe, is yes, Highway. So this is Highway. So LSCSO or BCSO is 3. And then, if I'm not mistaken, 2 ain't a radio. Nope. I believe 7. Maybe not. Could be 8. Oh no. That's right. I think they're 9. But LSCS, or that is, so this one's BCSO, that's right. 4 is basically a mix between LSPD and LSCSO as of currently. So we have a mutual aid pact where LSCSO can run in the jurisdiction of the city as well as in the county, since the county is their jurisdiction. For LSPD, we have to stay in the city, and pretty much that's where we roam. As you can see, where it says he's Talon 1, that is for water and air unit. And you could also have marine for water and air. We do have boats, we have cruisers, we also have trucks. Anybody's free to join, but do note this is a main PD server. It's more of cops than it is for civs. If you guys have any questions, comments, and concerns, please free to go to the comments section and look it over. We have a turn off button or a turn off. We could do volume up, volume down, depending on how loud the radio is or if you need to turn it up. Uh, Channels, this is pretty much you could save your favorites and then most likely click on them, but as of mine, does not work. Uh, it also gives you the location right here. That's pretty much where it's at. As you can see, this is a Vagos member as of currently. You could do T slash. Oh, you guys can't see it. So in the top left corner, we have our skybox, of course. You could do out of character, which is also OOC, or slash me, which is pretty much you commenting, depending if you're alive or dead. T slash do is basically something that you're currently doing, PM, private message, and then server is just everything. But one thing that it doesn't show is T slash LEO, M, or just LEO, which you can make a comment, and it basically shows a Leo message, which is law enforcement officer. You can also set voice content, set voice intent, which does your volume, your call sign, your radio. You can even start a fire, do smoke, and all sorts. But for us, in order to go on duty, we do T slash duty. We press enter. As you can see my blip tag, which says I am toggled to LSPD right there. Then you would do T slash panic thing, which channels you into the panic button, which is mainly used for like if an officer gets down or needs backup or is in need of rescuing from being taken as captive. You could also do T slash civ duty, which puts you as a civ and makes it to where you could do civ actions as such. You could be a part of a gang, you could be your own lone rider, you could be doing pretty much anything except for killing cops without prior. As many of you can see, we do have server rules, and many of which everybody must follow. For us, our F10 menu is where we could get our armor, we could do gang weapons, and all sorts of. This is basically our weapons wheel menu before we actually could use them. So as of currently, we have a basic loadout, which is just mainly for officers to start out with. Then we have Rifle 1, Rifle 2, which is upgraded rifles. Fire and EMS loadout is basically like fire extinguishers, Halligans, and all sorts. Game Warden is whatever their loadout is. You do have to seek permission and be in the Discord in order to figure this stuff out. Don't mind if you see notifications from my Discord. Don't mind them. They're just there. Civ loadout is basically the same as basic loadout, but for civs. SWAT loadout is basically all the equipment you could get in SWAT. We used to have airsoft, but that mainly they were abused and such, but they were mainly used for trainings as such as TAC K9 and SWAT. Weapons version 1 and version 2 are for civs only. Parachutes is for when you need to jump out of a helicopter or some sort. We do have rappelling in the choppers. Ultimate Grand is basically support packs that you pay for, and they have high-tech weapons. Bloodprint and Caution is Basically another weapons loadout, but you need to get perms for that. And then, if need be and such, you could clear all your weapons. So that's our F10 menu. Our F11 is what puts us on duty for basically locals, which is our NPC civilians, as we call them. I know I'm yapping a lot, but I'm used to this. I'm basically the field training division commander. I have to do this all the time. Anywho, let's move on to the station. And yes, this is our supervisor vest as well as our K9 coat. Our K9 hat could be backwards or forwards. This is basically the uniform of K9. And as such, here is our podium, as well as our chairs. This is basically one of our briefing rooms, but this is mainly down here. This one is training for field training officers and cadets. This is the looks of it, and if at any point my FPS is bugging out, you could go ahead and comment, because I've tried everything. I don't have the best internet, as well as playing on a TV, it kind of stretches it out. This is our logo that we have in the lobby, of course. We have a front desk that mainly you could request people, or if somebody has a complaint, you answer to them. It has our records on the left and information on the right. This is where we talk and confront, as well as if you have complaints. We have our system locked, but I ain't gonna exploit that yet. And if I'm not mistaken, this is just another part of the front desk, just where we get the information. We have classified information here, as well as all of our archives. We have our printer, we have our files. This is where you would go to the front desk, and pretty much what you would do here is you would take off your vest and answer calls, since you wouldn't need a tactical vest to actually be at the front desk. Usually we wear our basic uniforms, which I'll show you in the M menu. Right now, this is our M menu. This tells you how many players are online, player-related options such as you can clean your clothes or dry them, or this part mainly, it's just if like you are glitched or something, we don't really condone doing such. Player appearance basically is your customization. You could customize just basically off your character's face, or you could do your uniform here, or you could go to or make a pet, which you could have pets such as this one, which just for me is an alien pet, or and you'd spawn it through saved pets. MP pet customization, basically you make your character. You could create a male or female, and you'd go to uncategorized, and basically you'd make your outfits right here. As of currently, I have my Sergeant Plus and K9 because I made that uniform when I was a sergeant. So we basically have our regular K9. Yes, I know I have many. I have K9 Instructor. Basically our uniform for K9 to train. I have our K9 Patrol. This is the basic uniform. You would have your insignia on the left and right sleeve. Our tactical is just for TAC K9. Basically, it kind of looks like our SWAT uniform, but it's mainly meant for helping out SWAT and being on SWAT scenes. LEO Scuba is basically swimming, as well as jumping out of helicopters or going into a rescue mission. Uh, Basically, if you see any of like such, this is like Civ characters you can make. This one is our field training officer uniform for high command. It's just the basic one. And then this is our captain's uniform, or lieutenant plus, because it's our officers. Only lieutenants plus can wear white shirts. Anything under a lieutenant must wear the darker version or the regular patrol uniform. I basically made this as a motor unit as SWAT because this is SWAT patrol uniform right here. But there's also another shirt we have. And basically you can make whichever uniform you want, except if you're on LEO, you must follow the SOPs as such. Same as this one. This is our SWAT patrol. Just normally. And yes, usually you'd wear the black pants, but for this one it actually matches the green shirt, so we just kept it. This is the basic SWAT trainee uniform, or SWAT trainee, just without the multicam. But this is what operators would wear on a daily basis. Well, not on a daily, just mainly on SWAT calls. This is our water and air uniform. You could get yours custom made, but it costs to have them custom made. This is basically what you would wear every time you would fly in LSPD. Then, of course, this is our motor unit right here. Usually, yes, in real life you would have a tactical vest, but for us, we don't have one necessarily that would match this description. So we basically use a radio that's linked onto the belt, and what you see on the middle of the tie is the body cam. As such, I usually wear my K9 uniform, if not my SWAT patrol, and whichever. But that is our end menu. Well, not all of it. Basically here, this is vehicle related options. You'd go here to actually save vehicles, make whichever, as such. Sadly, you cannot save the choppers. I have tried, but you can save the boats. Everything that is labeled compact or has an actual description of what the car is for civs. Emergencies is mainly for LEO, such as the Harley, which is for motor unit, Dodge SRT Hellcat, which is our ADE unit. Then we have our K9 unit, Marine unit. This is the Ford Mustang. As of currently, since I'm not in ADE anymore, I cannot show. And as you can see, we got a call for local. What you guys seen yesterday was my supervisor truck. And this is our Bearcat. This is what we use to barricade and have an armored vehicle. And then I have my other Chevy that I use when I go on patrols. But that is pretty much what we use our M menu for. And you can actually make your personal vehicles and lock your doors. As of currently, for our loadout, this is just the basic loadout. We have a stun gun and a combat pistol. This is what you go for duty. We have our regular rifle, but most people prefer the rifle 2 or the SWAT loadout because this one's highly inaccurate and just shoots everywhere. Then, of course, we have our beanbag. We use this if necessary. Then, of course, with our hands, we got the nightstick, which is our baton, that we can use in unarmed or less lethal fashion. And then we have our flashlight, which we could use to actually search for in vehicles or search for evidence. Well, that's pretty much what our loadout is. Let me get the basic loadout. You keep the combat pistol. And with the combat pistol, you basically could take it unholstered. And yes, I know it's not realistic how the holster disappears, but you basically take it out if it's on the knee. We have pepper spray, which is highly effective. We have jerry cans, just in case if our cars need filled. Because we could fill it at our gas stations or just along the way. But we have to find a private and reasonable role play around it. Then we have the antidote for the pepper spray because you cannot do anything with it. We have our basic radar gun. Basically, you could set zones and speeds as such. And then we have our newest addition, which is the less lethal grenade launcher. What this does is basically shoots a blank round into somebody to actually lower them as well as stop them in their tracks, but be cautious because it does injure people. Then we have a regular breaching shotgun as well as another breaching shotgun meant to open and clear in spaces. And I already showed that. You can also sling your rifles, which I prefer to have mine with. This is rifle 1. Basically, basic loadout. AR-15, just with a bunch of attachments. And then this is our rifle 2. You can basically use the sights if you go into first person with V. And it has a reticle. Or you could go third person. Yes, I know, my frames are dying. That's because I only get 60 frames per second since this server ain't all that optimized. If you press E, you get your flashlight. The laser doesn't work so much as it needs fixing. And of course, you can sling your rifle by doing T slash sling space 1. Nope, that's not a 1. Sling 1. Or you could do sling 2, which is on the back. Or, as such, you could keep behind it like I did. And just have it like that. But this is the Vinewood station. This over here is another headquarters, of course. This is our captain's office. Yes, this one doesn't have a lock, but it'll soon have one. Here's where the files room is. Right over here is our training room as well as our briefing room. This is where we conduct meetings and such with other members. This is the break room, where you can go grab a snack if you have a hunger bar, which we do not in this, but we roleplay it out. And this is our detective's office. Basically, this is where our detectives go. And to further it out, I could do T slash K9. I could spawn my K9. I could, oh, wrong button. I could press T and up arrow, and I'll actually select my previous message. You could despawn your dog, which basically gets rid of them. You can have them sit, follow. You could have them bark. You could have them enter a vehicle. You can also control your dog and have them buy it. We used to have commands for it, but now it's in this typed command. Or you could configure your dog. You could change them from light brown, brown, dark brown, or black. You could change the color of the vest from black to green, red, or blue, which I prefer blue because it matches the canine uniform. You could have them for police, sheriff, rescue, or security. And basically, this is how they'll look as you customize. As of currently, he is following. Oh. He's a little buggy. For my canine, this is Phoenix. Oh. I guess she's stuck. Give me 1 second. Let me fix her right up. Basically, you could press shift, run with her. Press left click to attack, like anything. Basically, you'll roleplay it out. For right now, I'm just gonna have her sit here. And you could go into the canine's perspective of it. And I could just move to her location. As such, right here. Now I'll have her follow. You can do an animation. We have a basement, which is on the -4. And what that does is it's pretty much both our garage and our cells. So right over here is our interrogation rooms. Basically, you'd go in here and watch them from the distance. It's I believe, a one-sided mirror or a window. Yep. so they can't see into it, but we can see inside of it in that interrogation room where, if such, we interrogate the suspect. Here's our cells. This is just our basic cells. We have 1 through 5. Always one bigger than the other. And as such, we have the identification room. Basically, they'd stand in here. We'd get a picture of them. And that's how it mainly worked. And then we'd search suspects as well as see which one did the crime and have the victim. And that's the records room. Oh, did not mean the... Hold up. This is our garage. As such. This is... And to be fair, this is one of our new stations. It has been updated and viewer discretion is advised mainly. Once I actually perform a little better and have a better PC, I could show you guys some chases as well as what we do in the server. For right now, usually the way I have it, we don't spawn guns unless necessary. But I'm just showing you guys what we are. Of course, this is our area. For right now, I'm gonna just despawn my dog. And then bring him back. Because in that station, it's very glitchy to where they will not be able to actually... Oh, wrong button. Right now, this is still a new canine script. It's our newest tech onto the server. But yeah, we have our casino and it has been created and it's been in the server like this for a while. They made it differently than the one that they actually have in regular GTA. This is still 5, of course. But yeah, this is one of our stations. Ah, it did not follow. And here she comes. But yeah, that's pretty much the tour of how we run things here and our settings. What I'll do here is the only way we can actually spawn cars is if you're in a parking lot, out of player view, as well as street view. It goes both. It doesn't matter if it's regular locals or actual civ. Let's go into our menu, go to emergencies, and since we're canine, we'll spawn my canine unit. For Instructor Plus, we have Slick Top, or if you look at the thumbnail in the other one, we have it to where it is... Oh, hold on. I'll actually just show you here. Go to vehicle options, go to library. Here's Blaine County's K9 unit. And this is highways. This is ours. And then we have just the basic undercover and unmarked. We have our units on our license plate. Mine's K909, which is commander. But I ain't commander of this subdivision. I'm just an instructor. Pretty much, you would have your dog enter the vehicle. It's a bit laggy sometimes. You could have your menu. This is your antenna. You can actually display the toggle, press the power. You'd press this one, as well as this one and this one to actually have the radar. Then you can do plate readers, so you basically could lock plates here, and whichever goes by on your front one or your back one that speeds, you can lock it with your number pad or whichever you prefer. Arcade menu is basically our seatbelt. H is your lights, which you could do high beams. Q is our lights. These are currently my lights, but honestly, what I prefer to see is this one with the light bar. That's the one I showed you guys on the thumbnail for the last one. And with it basically, with the graphics I got, that's how it looks. Well, we are gonna save this as I do like these lights. For regulations, yes, we do have certain amount of lights that we can have on our cars, but as of right now, you cannot see just the top. You can see the top lights, but you can't get every light. It actually stops. This is our sirens for 1, 2, our 3, 4. That's our 5. And we have just 1 through 5 for lights and sirens. Now, it's a little laggy, which is okay. As you can see in the top, or in the right, you could see their speed as well as their license plate. Our shift, if you press F11 and go to police system or ambulance, fire department, or tow service, basically what it does is it stops the car, reads the plate, sees if it has bulldozer or whatnot, so on and so forth. Let's channel into the radio. Yes, it's going to be very laggy since it's not optimized. Oh, 09 showed me 1042, 10.8. And that means you're in service and active. You also have, well, I'll show you once I get to the parking lot. We have speed traps and speed zones, of course. Yes, I am very laggy. My frame rate is very horrible here. But this is our casino. You can enter it. Right now, what I'm logging into is the Sonora cab. Yes, it's taking a bit. I know it's very bad quality, but As of right now, I am at a loss. You could go police or civilian, but you have to sign in. Basically, this tells me that dispatch can contact me and tell me if I'm on duty or whatnot. You can look up a name or license plate as such. It's taking a minute. You can look up their name, initial, and see if they have records, or check the license plate, identifier, which is agency, department, subdivision. This is basically for LEO. And this is ID, which is right over here. Basically, you could have it to where you're busy, unavailable, available, en route, or on scene, or you could test your panic. You could look up records. This is your records. You could see if there's any new records or reported center, such as if something is being made. But this is the outside of the casino. Anytime you exit a vehicle with a canine, you must take them with. As of currently, yes, I know it. I have a low frame rate, but it's also people are using their lights and sirens too frequently, and since this server is not optimized, it bugs it. Well, let's go into the casino. Okay. You can go in here. You can't use weapons or whatnot, and we have a fully active casino. You can interact in here as well as play the games and do all sorts. But as you can see in the mini-map, you could play the games as displayed. But since I'm on duty, I'm not allowed to do so, because my main job is to be on patrol. And make sure if your vehicle's on, for our script, that fan will basically down you. Make sure your seatbelt's always on, because if you go too fast and crash into anything, you do fly out. You check your intersections, which this is quite interesting. Just a car. As you could tell, that is our comms for the radio. Right now they are currently in a 1080, which is vehicle pursuit. And that is currently in the city. And yes, the only reason you see me stop at stoplights is because there's no such thing as GTA driving here. You must actually, as a LEO officer, follow by the laws of the road. And yes, I know I just sped, a little too far. And if you look at the bottom left, you can see our mini-map as well as our horns, sirens, takedown, or whatnot. We do have grapplers that are functional. And basically you have to get the rear... Jesus. Give it 1 minute, it's finicky. as I can tell right now. Yes, I know I'm frozen, but that's also because most of the scripts in here are very buggy. And I know I've been sitting at this stop sign for too long, so I'll go. We have a cruise control. You can put it on cruise control and just coast. You have to be a high speed. It's hard to get it just right sometimes. Yes, I know I'm lagging and my screen stops a lot, but that's also because the optimization is very poorly. The only reason I just stay in this server is pretty much because I help out the people and also high command, so I have to. But as of currently, we're going right back to the city. This is our basic roads. As of currently, I'm in the left lane, so I'm gonna be turning here. Yeah, I know, I was over the double lines, which you're taught in. We're just strolling. Got a stop sign right here. Just like in real life, we have a 3-second delay. Looks like we got a go code. This is code 2. This is code 3. Oh. And as you see, I messed up and went into the wrong lane. And pretty much that's... I know that was horrible driving, but pretty much this is the tour into Static. So what I'm gonna do, I know this ain't really how it's supposed to work, and being a commander in all of this server, it's... Oh, I need to stop doing that. This is code 2, which usually we don't do, but I'm just taking you guys on a tour. And as of currently, this is how it is. And alright, let's take a tour. This will probably be the last of the video. That is our sheriffs right there. This is our PD, which usually we don't have them parked like that. This is the main headquarters of Los Santos PD. This is our front desk, as well as there's 2 entrances and exits. Let's take a tour. Yeah, I know. We're just gonna have the dog sit. This is our briefing room, as well as... Well, that's pretty much what this is. This is our briefing room for Mission Row. This is where we come for subdivision briefings, as well as after server restarts, we have generalization, description, and such. That's our records desk. It's only access to LEO. There's Phoenix, being cute. This is our front desk. You can have 2 people here at certain amount of times. This is behind the front desk. This is basically where we collect information and such. That other door that you've seen over there, that one's basically what leads to both areas. Back here we have our elevator, which goes to the rooftop, as well as the downstairs, which goes to our jail cell and garage. This is our detective's office, which we have a current lock on. As you can tell, they're still in a 1080. And such, this is our outside of the detective's office. Basically, this is where detectives go, usually, to write reports, conjure evidence. This briefing room specifically is meant for supervisors. For if we have a meeting or need to have a discussion. This is for Sergeant Plus, which is our supervisor rank starts at Sergeant. This room right over here is, if I'm not mistaken, not accessible. Up there is our offices. I'll take a tour with that. This is our locker room. Basically, we have showers and such in here. This is where we get cleaned up after a mission and whatnot. This is where we get our uniforms. We have our right shield right there. We could go either upstairs or downstairs. Downstairs leads to our garage and cells. Upstairs leads to our offices. We have more offices here because this is where we mainly use. You have the dispatch room right over here, which is where they send out information and whatnot to any available unit. We got the lieutenant's office, which is meant for only lieutenants to conversate or bring people in to discuss. We have right there the first captain's office that we had. Oh. And as of currently, our game has crashed, so this will be the end of the recording. Thank you all for attending, and I hope you all have a good one.